Very good morning. How are you doing today?
Hey, Noor, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Doing good, thanks. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Office 365. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the folks joining from different parts of the globe. My name is Noor Basha, a marketing manager at WinWire Technologies, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. So today's topic for the session is a migration from eRoom to Office 365 and SharePoint. So in this webinar, we will discuss some of the best practices for the migration of eRoom to O365. So before we start, let me highlight few housekeeping items. During the webinar, please feel free to post questions in the questions dialog, and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end of the session. And we are recording this session and will be shared to you in next 24 to 48 hours. So let me take this opportunity to introduce you to today's session speaker, my colleague, Mr. Madan. He is the senior architect at WinWire Technologies and brings over close to 12 plus years of IT industry experience, and is a Microsoft certified professional in designing and developing applications in various versions of SharePoint, right from 2007 to 2013, and also to O365. So without wasting much time, I would like to turn it over to Madan so that he can take the sessions from here. Madan, over to you.
Hey, thank you, Noor. No, thank you for setting up the stage. Hello, everyone who is joining from different parts of the world. I know different continents. So today, we'll talk about today's agenda. Now we have 30 minutes. We'll try to wrap it up around 25 minutes and give you guys some time to go over some of the questions you may have. And as Noor mentioned, you can use the questions dialog to post your questions throughout the demo. And just to keep it moderated, we'll come to the questionnaire section probably at the end. We'll take a few minutes to answer some of the questions, and we can also have a follow-up email. With that said, today's agenda will be, okay, so first of all, why do we need to know what is eRoom, and why do we need to move from eRoom, and why did we choose O365 as a platform when you're moving away from eRoom, and what's the typical migration methodology we suggest based on all of our past experiences, not only from eRoom, but from Lotus Notes or from Jive and all other platforms to SharePoint migration. We have done various migrations using various migration tools and also using our custom migration approach. So I'm going to be talking about the detailed migration methodology enterprises needs to adopt, and finally we'll go back to the questionnaire. Okay, first of all, why migrate from eRoom? To get into that particular question answer, probably we need to understand what is the eRoom. I know folks who are joined this webinar, most of you will be familiar with eRoom, but just a quick overview about what is eRoom. It's an online collaboration platform, and it is there for over a decade, right? And it has a lot of flexible folder and room structure. Like the end users themselves will be able to create folders, create eRooms. And there are two different versions of eRoom. One is a documentum eRoom, which is something that you will deploy on your premises, and your users will be able to leverage it. And then the other part of it is a eRoom.net, and eRoom.net is a hosted solution that also is available. And coming to the next part, why migrate from eRoom, right? So eRoom, when it was launched, as well as when it got updated. I know eRoom as an organization got acquired by different organizations, and there were a lot of changes in the product roadmap. So eRoom as a product was specifically designed for small to medium-sized businesses only, and over a period of time, when the organizations grow bigger, they may want to migrate away from eRoom. That's one. And in terms of the feature side, if you look at it, after eRoom got released, a decade back, there are multiple other products, including SharePoint, which became superior in terms of the feature set. eRoom focuses more around the collaboration and specifically around document collaboration, and not having a full-fledged content management system the enterprises demands for as of in today's world, right? And as the flexibility is given to the users, it is difficult to implement governance because both of them go hand in hand. If you give a lot of room, lot of flexibility to the end users, from an IT standpoint, it will be difficult to implement governance. That's one thing eRoom lacks. And there are no social, enterprise social features like you don't have blogs, wikis, and discussion boards. Though there are no discussion lists, but it's not comparable with the recent trends in the in the market, including Yammer and Jive kind of a discussion forum that is not available. And there is no personal space. SharePoint has a personal site or a my site, which is not there in an eRoom scenario. And one more thing, from a product roadmap perspective, the last version of eRoom, which is the 7.4.4, the support of it is going to be ending, in March 2017. That's another driver for a lot of organizations thinking about moving away from eRoom, right? And typically, eRoom always provides a 3 years warranty period. So after a product is launched, normally eRoom gives like 3 years period. Now, so we talked about all what is eRoom and why do we need to migrate away from eRoom and all of that. Now, instead of SharePoint Online or SharePoint alone, the reason for giving the target environment as Office 365 as a whole, there are multiple reasons. I just want to talk about some of them. For example, starting from video portal and then the platform consolidation. Whenever we talk to any new prospect, any new customers from our organization, we always notice that 90 to 95% of the customers we talk to are already on Office 365 in some fashion. Either they use Exchange only, or probably SharePoint Online only, or probably even a Skype for Business only. So some part of Office 365 is already exists in majority of the customers. So that's why we thought, okay, why don't we think about Office 365 as a whole suite of products rather than just thinking about SharePoint alone, right? So platform consolidation. So Office 365 as as an offering from Microsoft, that helps you in consolidating all the other platforms. You have your Exchange, your SharePoint collaboration platform, collaboration and content management platform, your Skype into instant messaging platform, everything. These are all the three. But as we know, Office 365 always introduce newer products, including Planner, Staff Hub, all of those newer products to make sure that the enterprises are benefited from their subscription. So that's the reason why we chose Office 365. I'll not go through every single line item. Most of it is self-explanatory, including the search, search capability across other platforms to SharePoint as well. Even hybrid, when you have a hybrid environment of SharePoint, the integrated search works much seamlessly, right? And Office 365 by default, provides a mobile enablement as well, because in the current era, it's very difficult to think of or design a solution which is not mobile enabled. So you always need to think about enabling mobile for your users' access, because nobody wants to carry their laptop and have a VPN connected to always access the content, unless it's a more secured content. You want to keep it only for VPN enabled users, right? And within O365, so we have the enterprise metadata. There's a video portal to leverage all of the features provided by video portal to stream your videos efficiently. And also there is a user-friendly publishing and content workflows provided by SharePoint, and not just only SharePoint. Now Flow and Power Apps are going to be playing an important role. in the coming months. It's already started. Customers already started, leveraging Flow and Power Apps, but you will see more and more in the coming months. Okay. So with that, said, we talked about eRoom, we talked about O365 as a platform. So now let's get into the details of how do we, how are we envisioning the migration methodology from eRoom to O365. Right. As a first step, what we do for any migration is do a pre-migration analysis. Right. So there's a little bit more detailed information for any of every single block. I'm presenting it here, so I'll not talk much about it now, but I'll quickly build the slide. It's a 6-step process in our mind. In our mind, this is what we are recommending. We can always tweak it for any customer. The first step being a pre-migration analysis. Then we start mapping the features, because if you just talk eRoom to SharePoint migration, there are a lot of off-the-shelf products which will help you directly migrate it. But even for that, you need to know which container you will whoever is familiar with eRoom and will know about the containers now I'm talking about. Which container you need to choose from SharePoint to do this migration, whether it's a site collection or a site or a document library or any other level, right? Then there are various migration options, including some of the tools as well as the custom migration approach. So we'll talk about that. Then we always recommend from a process standpoint, okay, don't take a bigger step. As a baby step, probably you will have to do a pilot migration as a first step, see how it goes, learn from that pilot, and then plan your larger migration, right? And then once you have that documented, then you can go ahead and execute the migration. First step, pre-migration analysis, right? So in pre-migration analysis, what all we do? First step is existing environment analysis, right? So we need to gather as much as information about the existing eRoom environment as a first step. One is finding out, starting from number of eRooms, how many calendars are there, how many discussion boards, how many databases, more importantly, and if there are any inboxes, any polls. So that gives a good sense of okay, so what is that we are planning to migrate, right? One more important aspect is internal versus external. So is this eRoom used only for internal, or even the customers or probably some of your partners are leveraging that eRooms? Then security metrics, how the security is currently implemented. Is it based on your Active Directory groups, or is it based on eRoom specific direct access? All of that we'll have to evaluate. So one of the tools which normally we use is DocCav provides a pre-migration scanner for this analysis purposes. That will give you some of this metrics, not all of it, but some of this metrics. But the important point is the pre-migration scanner is going to kind of highlight what are all the risks you may run into, right, during the migration. So that is something you need to watch out for. So DocCav's pre-migration scanner is going to help you with that. Then the second part is conducting user interviews, right? So we always believe that though we run all the different tools and everything we gather it, the tribal knowledge the administrators and the users are having, who is working with that system for decades, who will have a lot of information, valuable information, which is very important for migration planning. One of the input normally we receive is, okay, so you're looking at probably 50 different eRooms. Out of 50, 20 of them were never used for the past 5 years or 3 years, right? So that's a good input for us. Not even spend time on those eRooms, no further analysis. We just get a confirmation from the business owner that, okay, is it okay to not do any migration of those eRooms, right? So that such tribal knowledge is always important and valuable for a project migration. So we conduct deep dive user interviews to make sure that all the tribal knowledge is gathered. Then we also document what's the objective. Is it just migrating as is? Okay, whatever is there, just migrate it to the platform, right? Whether it's SharePoint or any other platform. So we will document the objectives, and based on that we will come up with a migration planning. Then the third part is, okay, so we gathered all the metrics, we perform analysis on top of that data, and figure out, okay, there are some integrations done, some code level integrations done, some scripts are written to integrate with any other platform. So how do we migrate it? What should be the migration approach? So we perform basically the analysis with that data. Mapping O365 features, okay. It's not the entire list of eRoom features, but whoever is working with eRoom can clearly say these are all the top 10 or 15 features in eRoom normally people would use. And we started mapping as a first step. Okay, O365 has so many different products, as it is a suite of products. Within it, we started mapping which particular product will match each of these top level features. Right? Now, for example, if you start talking about databases, I'll build the next part of this as well. Okay, when I say database, yeah, it can go in a SharePoint Online and as a custom list, right? So you will create a custom list with the database schema based on the eRoom, and you'll start mapping individual features like this, and starting from eRoom can, the entire eRoom as a container can be migrated as a site collection or as a site or as a document library. So that choice will be done based on the analysis we do, and then the recommendation we provide to the IT team of the customer, right? Then we have the custom processes. Let's say if there are any custom processes, the recent way to think is use a flow, right? Use Microsoft Flow and create a new flow, integrate with any other system, and create that custom process. And if there are any forms, we think about Power Apps so that we can easily do mobile enablement, right? So this is just a high-level features mapping. We do it, and evaluate migration options, right? So this is a step step 3 of the entire process. So we have multiple options. One of the option is methodologies provides a content matrix eRoom edition specifically for eRoom migration to SharePoint. So it provides option to migrate your eRooms as either a site collection or as a site or as document library, or even it provides an item level migration option as well, right? And it can migrate any source container, whether it's a database or it's it's all items migration. And it does provide PowerShell based migration, so you don't have to always be online and then keep scheduling one by one. You can write PowerShell and then automate your migrations. And it also manages if there are any conflicts during the migration. Methodologies provides that. How do you manage that conflict? Then another option, there are various tools, but I'm just picking top two. DocCav provides a eRoom migrator, which has a pre-migration scanner, as well as it provides a full-fledged eRoom migration, and you can schedule jobs for migrating. Right. The third option, okay, so the Methodologics and DocCav will provide migration to SharePoint, predominantly. But if you are thinking about any recent products from O365, let's say Flow or Project Online or anything else you want to migrate, you may have to build a custom tool which will help you do that. And also at times you may end up using your own development rather than doing a migration. You will start the development from scratch. That decision will be taken based on the volume of migration, based on the complexity of the source platform, right? So these are all different options you have for migration. Then, as you suggested, you need to definitely think of planning a pilot migration before you start your actual migration. The pilot migration, you'll have to, the first step is choosing the sites with different complexity levels. You may have to pick something with just documents, something probably with other than documents if there are any other features like databases and anything else from eRoom. So it gives basically you need to pick different flavors of the eRoom site, and then you'll have to choose features, unique feature sets, and foremost important thing in a customer, in an enterprise scenario is you need to pick some user who are ready to be part of the pilot and move to a different platform out of eRoom. Right? So you need to pick such enthusiasts who can help you with the pilot validation and then give ideas, all of that. The other points I don't want to go through line by line. So basically the idea is plan for pilot migration, and finally demo the migrated solution to the stakeholders, get their guidance before we start planning the final migration. So the next step, after the pilot, you demoed it to the stakeholders. You will have to gather all of that learnings from the pilot, what you have done, and then document it and use that to sequence the migrations. Okay, do you want to take a big bang approach for your actual migration, or do you want to go eRoom by eRoom, or probably some organizations ask us, okay, can we do the migration department by department, right? All of that, or probably do the feature set and then say, okay, these features will go first. Let's say all calendars will go first, and then the databases will be moved next, and all of that. So that can it can be in any way, but you need to just plan it out and keep communicating with the business users and letting letting the plan clearly sent to them, right? So that's important. Okay, post migration checks. So one of the things normally we suggest is implement the governance plan. I know the eRooms or any other source platforms which are decade old probably will not have a clear governance implemented. So our recommendation is always to go for governance plan definition and creating a governance committee. So forming a governance committee is an important activity. So form a governance committee, define the governance standards, and then start implementing it. It doesn't need to be always post go live. You need to start doing it even before go live, but the implementation will happen after the go live, right? And a lot of people will ask, okay, how do we make sure that we adopt the users, right? So you need to always have user trainings and brown bag sessions. Probably have a lot of brown bag sessions based on different locations. If you want to run multiple brown bag sessions and trainings, that's important. Then start measuring the user adaptability. Okay, how many people logged into the SharePoint site? How many people are accessing the documents in the new site? That you need to start having the audit logging in the SharePoint environment and start tracking it to make sure that the users are adopting the new platform well. Then start enabling the users to leverage out of the box features rather than asking the IT team to implement custom solutions. They need to start leveraging the out of the box features. For that again, the emphasis is start doing a lot of trainings. Then coexistence. So you need to have both the environments running in parallel. That is important. Maybe the eRoom environment can be made standby for a week or so that if there is anything which is left out from migration, you need to always go back and refer. Then plan out the decommissioning of eRoom environment at some point in time, right? Maybe it depends on your timeline. You can choose probably 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, whatever may be the timeline based on your eRoom priority. You can choose that and start developing a maintenance plan. Okay. With that said, I'll probably hand it over to Noor again. Thank you, everyone, and I'll be available for some more time to answer any of the questions. So, Noor, back to you.
Thanks, Madan. Thanks for the wonderful session and taking us through the migration process to the Office 365. Before we jump into the questions, let me take a quick minute to introduce who we are. WinWire Technologies, a leader in digital transformation through IT solutions, is focused on making information actionable for enterprises in the mobile cloud world. So we are a managed partner, and we have gold competencies across different suites like cloud platform, cloud productivity, data analytics, collaboration, and application development. So we leverage platforms such as SharePoint, O365, SQL Server, Azure, Advanced Analytics, IoT, and .NET programming framework to deliver business solutions to our customers. So for more information, I would request you to visit our website, www.winwire.com. And let me quickly jump to the next slide where I can see some questions coming in from the audience. So Madan, here is the first question for you. So how long typically it takes to assess the existing eRoom environment?
Sure. So normally the eRoom assessment, like I mentioned, it's a three-step process. Running the discovery tool and, conducting user interviews. It depends on the priority. So it can, range anywhere, from 2 to 3 days. Sometimes, to some of the customers, it can even, go on for 3 to 4 weeks as well. Because if we need to, conduct a lot of user interviews to understand, to get the tribal knowledge, then the process is longer based on the user's availability and all. So from a calendar duration standpoint, it can go on, from anywhere between 3 days to probably, 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, Madan. So here is the other question. So what strategy do you accommodate to drive the user adoption from moving from eRoom to SharePoint?
Sure, that's a wonderful question. Anyone who is moving to a newer platform, irrespective of eRoom or SharePoint or O365 or even Salesforce, any platform, once the people, once the users start using it for the first time, the key is always to make sure that they are well informed ahead. Start publishing about the new platform even before it is live. Right? Start saying that probably in the pantries. I've seen in some customers they'll start putting pamphlets and then information on the pantries and cafeterias, saying that okay, we are going to be moving to a newer collaboration platform from Q1, Q2, Q3, whatever it is, and start giving them some advanced information, and have your training department making sure that we have all the information available for training the users. Right? It can be an online self-learning mode. You can start publishing such videos and articles about the new platform. Right? So that's the only way you can start adopting your users even before it is live. You can start your users think in those lines, and once the platform is live, conduct more training sessions in different locality. It always helps to have an in-person classroom trainings. So online trainings will help going forward, but first time when they are using it, it always helps having a classroom-based training, encouraging users to attend classroom trainings in different locations.
Thanks, Madan. Thanks for answering this question. So there are a few more questions, but in the interest of time, we would like to answer those questions offline. So here is what I recommend. Like if you have any further questions, we would request you to write at marketing@winwire.com, and I'll have Madan answer those questions as soon as possible. So before we wrap up for the day, like as you can see on the screen, our next webinar next month is on secure product enterprise. Like how do you enable digital transformation with secure product enterprise? You can visit our website winwire.com/webinars to register for the upcoming webinars. Again, thanks everyone for taking time to join this webinar session, and I hope you found it informative. Thanks, Madan. Thanks for taking time to deliver this wonderful session.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.